The Buddies make it a hat-trick of draws for Scotland as Lady Luck was their buddy tonight because they didn't deserve it, but they got it, didn't they?
They did get it. There was panic in Paisley right until the end, but a late St Mirren equaliser secures them a draw. And oddly enough, in all the European games Scottish teams have been involved in this week, they've came back to rescue draws very late in the match. So, a bit of a weird midweek for the Scottish teams. None of them lost, which is good, but none of them won, which is kind of not good either. But St Mirren, I think, out of the three teams, probably in the worst shape. I think they were the team that probably performed the worst out of the three. They're more likely to have a tougher tie in the away leg than any of the other teams. Obviously, I think Kilmarnock will be closer in their game, and Rangers will have the home tie at Hampden. St Mirren, out of the three for me, have the least amount of chance now going through, but at least they have a chance thanks to that late goal. So yeah, let's talk more about the match. But had they lost tonight, with the performance that they put in, I would not have fancied their chances in the next leg. But hey, they got a good draw, good coefficient points, and they're still ticking in Europe, so it's all good.
As we said in the Kelly game, if you draw, you don't need to worry about scoring in the next game. You just need to worry about not conceding.
Yeah, the last thing you want is, especially if you're the weaker side, you don't want to be going away in the second leg and having to open up, having to attack, having to push the game and try and be the team that is forcing it, because if these other teams have quality, they can just pick you apart. But St Mirren are now in a position where they don't need to do that. As negative as it is, St Mirren could just draw 0-0 and take their chances, a coin flip and penalties. So there's a good chance that St Mirren can still go through thanks to this draw.
Absolutely, but immediately you realise that Brann were better than Fleur. They just were better than Fleur. I don't think this should be a surprise to anyone. St Mirren probably should have beat Fleur twice. On paper they should be. I know we're past that game and all, but I think drawing away in Iceland, which, I mean, it doesn't really matter now because they went through, I think they need to be picking up the win.
That probably would have been, well, yeah, I'd agree. Aye. Yep, I think so.
You what so? I know so. Alright, they need to be beating teams like that. As for this game tonight, good. I think this is good, because you know what, they should have got beat about 3-4-0, 5-0 even potentially. Chances galore to Brann. Did. Big man. He put it wide by a foot, which they were pretending that this was like, oh, how's he missed? How's he done that? I think if you miss it by a foot, that is too big of a gap to pretend like, oh, it was so close.
It depends.
A foot's massive, man.
I mean, if you're hitting a shot for 40 yards, missing by a foot's not that bad, but
for this range, though,
for this range, then a foot may as well be a mile.
Aye.
We're talking professional footballers here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, we are talking professional footballers at the lower scale of professional.
A foot's not necessarily close. It's like in Formula 1. If you're a second off pole position, it might not sound a lot, but it's massive. And I think the same about football. I mean, come on, a foot's big. In football in terms it is.
No, a foot is big, but here, he missed pretty much St Mirren's only chance of the first half.
Yep, St Mirren, no, they did have one foot in the grave, but thankfully they pulled it out.
They did pull it out, but Brann, they're missing chances galore. Good performance for the St Mirren goalkeeper. Was it a good performance from their fans? Who had the best fans tonight? Was it Kelly or St Mirren? I'm going to go St Mirren.
Yeah, Paisley was rocking, wasn't it?
Kelly, come on, it wasn't really.
Well, you know what, though? I mean, probably St Mirren fans have more to be cheering about at the start of the season. Yeah, Kelly had that decent performance against Cercle Bruges, but it still resulted in them losing the tie, and they got humiliated off Celtic. Whereas St Mirren already picked up a win in Europe.
Joint top of the league.
They went through their tie, and they smashed Hibernian. Now, they're not joint top of the league, they're actually second in the league, so I know you're trying to, maybe run down Celtic there, because you've been the Rangers fan that you are.
Hold on. But, run down Celtic?
No, you're trying to discredit Celtic, but let's be honest, Celtic are top of the league, St Mirren are second. There's no joint top, alright? See that year Rangers won it by goal difference? Did you share the league with Celtic? Was it a joint title? Did you half it in two?
What year was that then, out of curiosity, since you remember?
2007, 2008. Am I right?
You're right. No.
Apparently that was the year I was supporting Rangers, so I mean...
You should know.
Hey.
No, that was far too late.
What do you mean?
Was it not the Mikel Arteta one?
Nah, they've had a couple.
Well, no, they've had a couple, but I was more on about that one. Well, it doesn't really fucking matter, does it?
The point is, look, Celtic are top of the league, St Mirren are second. There's no joint top.
Yeah, alright.
Take it back.
There's a difference between being joint on match day 1 and being joint on match day 38. Will you accept that?
No, because if
Actually, no, you're right, there ain't, because
Celtic got another league title.
This association has a gimmick with just dishing out leagues fucking early, so if it ended right now,
yeah, that's what I'm
Celtic
saying.
would get
If Celtic, if they dished out another league title after match day 1, St Mirren wouldn't be getting half it.
No.
We didn't even get a quarter of it, they get nothing of it. Anyway, back to the review.
Rangers be in the bottom 6. Anyway, right, half time comes.
Might be there after 38 games.
We're getting subs. No penalty for Brann. Stephen Robinson's going off his tits here. I don't really know why. I mean, they didn't get a penalty. Maybe they weren't going to get a penalty. It was an all-English VAR team, so maybe there was a wee bit conspicuous going on there. But he got booked.
Is that right, an all-English VAR team, though? Or should there just be no bias in these sort of professional European games?
I mean, I half get where you're coming from, but like, why would they care about St Mirren?
Yeah, but could you not argue St Mirren could claim there's like, I think both teams could be annoyed about this. St Mirren could say, well, you know, Scotland and England are rivals, and then Brann could say, look, they're part of their British, you know, island.
Aye.
So you don't think Brann could have a reasonable argument as to why they think it might be a little bit unfair to have an all-English officiating team in this match tonight?
Maybe, but did they get any decisions go against them?
No, they didn't, but I'm just...
This one?
You're using hindsight, I'm just saying before the game.
Before the game? Wise up here, man. Brann flakes. Brann snowflakes, if that's the fucking case, man. That's pish. Anyway, Gogic clears a chance off the line for the second top goal scorer in Norwegian football last year. No idea what his fucking name was. I believe it was Finn. Finn something.
I'm pretty sure it's the guy that scored the goal. So.
Well, it's Finn that scored the goal. So Finn scores. He makes it 1-0.
Not quite Finn Balor.
Finn Balor, laddie. Or what's Finn McCool or whatever Finns we got.
Finn McGee.
Finn McGee. Fucking what? Anyway. Brann should be about
We're
10.
on a thin line here.
We are on a thin line here. Brann should be about 5-0 up. Ball whipped in.
Oh, come on. They weren't that dominant.
Aye, they were. Lasagna, Osilagna, whatever you want to call them. 1-1. Love Street's on fire.
It's refused.
Nobody called it's falling.
Nobody called Love Street in 40 years. Wait, was it called Love Street last time St Mirren were in Europe?
That's all that matters.
I forget. I think it's even...
What was the fact? St Mirren are playing the team that Kelly last played? Or was it no, Kelly are playing the team?
Kelly are playing the team that St Mirren last played in Europe.
Very good, very good. Anyway, guys.
Nice wee fact for you there.
That is it for the match review. Good game. We'll talk more about the implications this has for, you know, Scottish football. And
yeah, I'm excited to see the coefficient as well, because it's 3 games for Scottish clubs and we've avoided defeats in all of them.
I mean, would you have took this going into it?
Aye, I think you would.
Know why you would have took it? Because each tie's alive, and I think Rangers was the worry going into the week.
Aye.
As crazy as that may sound now in hindsight.
I think, I mean, pretty much everyone was expecting Rangers to lose. It was just a matter of how much they would lose.
Yep.
And you've probably got people that believe that St Mirren come on it going to lose anyway. Let's be honest.
If you look at the bookies, St Mirren were 94.
I mean, let's be honest. When Scottish opposition goes up against Norwegian opposition, if the old firm aren't involved, Scottish opposition are the underdogs.
And also get Scudded here. Fair play to St Mirren and Kelly. Even if they go out next week, I think they've done the country proud. They haven't been Scudded. I mean, St Mirren's undefeated, so can't even...
No, they have, but again, I also want to look back at last year in the Europa League when you got Aberdeen beating Frankfurt. So that's why I can't sit here and pretend that I think St Mirren...
You think?
That St Mirren and Kilmarnock's draws are great results. I don't. I think they're acceptable, and it's like the bare minimum that they need it to take into the second leg. However, we need to stop running down our league, and we need to stop pretending that draws against teams like this are amazing results. It's a decent result, and it's a result that keeps the tie alive, and it's not a 50-50 tie. I think St Mirren are underdogs, but you know they're still in it. But let's not pretend here that getting a draw against the likes of Brann is a major achievement for St Mirren. It's not, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be for
decent result though.
Decent result, but I think we need to stop, underrating.
I think we're just so used though to like Motherwell getting scudded by Sligo and what was the other team? Coleraine, was it?
I mean, yeah, it's probably just past results that have made us feel so like vulnerable in Europe. But as soon as we do get a half decent result against a team that isn't from like a minor nation, we all like freak out over it because we've seen in any time. Maybe not the last few years, but before then, it's like any time we had one of our clubs take on a team from like Sweden or Denmark or Norway or Croatia, unless it was Celtic, it was a cricket score. Or at least it was just them losing. They'd constantly lose.
Anyway, guys, that is what we're going to do it here. We're back with the review show. The good result. I mean, I think not to lose is good for the coefficient at the end of the day. But when you look at things, you're right. You look at Brann. Most people might not even have heard of Brann before this game. I mean, that's the truth. If Rangers and Celtic can take it, if Celtic and Rangers can take it to teams, are 5-star on FIFA, for example, then should St Mirren not be laying the smackdown on Brann?
Brann are probably like 2.5.
You look at tonight though. I'm giving too much away, but Larne beat Balkini, and I think obviously Balkini are probably worse than the two Norwegian sides, but
shit,
Larne are fucking miles off St Mirren and Kelly. So.
Look, it was a decent night, but not a great night. At the end of the day, it was 2 home ties and there wasn't a single victory, so...
3 draws, though.
3 draws.
Scottish football almost undefeated. Apart from that wee bastard Kelly jobbing it in Belgium.